guys, welcome to Motor Rides. My name is Amit, and as you can see, this is the Royal Enfield Hunter 350, a motorcycle which has caused ripples across segments. And the biggest challenge that it is thrown is to the TVS Ronin, which by itself was a very different kind of a motorcycle, was appreciated by many, and me in particular. I really love that motorcycle. And a lot of you have been asking this question as to which of the two motorcycles, this or the TVS Ronin, is a better choice. Now before I start this comparison, I want to unequivocally say something. In technical terms, purely from an engineering perspective, I really believe that the Ronin is a better product. However, there are some really strong advantages to the Hunter 350 as well, and today I'm going to let you know all that is there to be known about these two motorcycles and who should be buying which one. So let's get started. Now, in terms of the engine, which is the heart of any motorcycle, the Ronin has an edge in terms of the kind of technology that it uses. It has a 4-valve engine. This motorcycle has a 2-valve unit. That motorcycle also has better heat management. There you have a very good oil cooler with a big radiator, so the heat management there is a little better. The cat cons have been brought together here, so there is some heat radiating out of this exhaust system, and the Ronin essentially runs a little cooler. Also, that engine is more modern, and I personally believe that the 250cc engine that the Ronin has is technologically a superior unit. Also, you get a slip and assist clutch there, which is missing here, so that again is an advantage. The chassis and the suspension setup there is also slightly superior in my personal opinion, especially the suspension, because there you have 41 mm upside down forks. Here you have the traditional 41 mm dia forks. There you have a 7-step adjustable monoshock. Here you have twin shock absorbers, so that again is an advantage in favor of the Ronin. From a versatility perspective also, I think Ronin is a little better because ground clearance here is 155 mm. So in that sense also the Ronin has an advantage. The suspension generally feels more comfortable to me on the Ronin, while it feels slightly on the firmer side on the Hunter to me. Now, if you talk about the off-roading capability or the versatility of it, I think the Ronin again has an advantage because there you have a very generous ground clearance of 181 mm as opposed to 155 mm here. So if you want to be taking that motorcycle off the road for soft roading, I think it would be more capable than this motorcycle, thanks also to the fact that the Ronin comes with a block pattern on and off-road tires, and you have a 110 section tire there, which is the same on the Metro variant of this motorcycle as well as on the Ronin tire, but the grip on the Ronin's tire as well as its versatility is a lot better than here. Although on the Metro variant the tire section here is 140 at the rear, which is more than 130 that is there on the Ronin, but the Ronin still has a grippier tire because there you have Remora compound tires, which I personally believe are much grippier. We rode the Ronin in really wet conditions in Goa and it did not disappoint at all, as opposed to this motorcycle, which when leaned hard does give way a little bit. So in terms of the grip of the tires and in terms of the versatility of the tires and the ground clearance, I really believe that the Ronin is a better motorcycle of the two. Also, in terms of the lighting, this motorcycle does not have any LED lighting except for the tail lamp on the Metro variant, while the Ronin has LED lighting all across the headlights, the blinkers. Even the blinkers are very beautifully styled. They're shaped like arrows and look much more premium. The motorcycle also has a DRL, this one does not, and all of those things add value to the motorcycle. So in that sense, the lighting department also, the Ronin really runs away with it. The instrument console on the Ronin also is a lot more sophisticated than the one on this, and even if you consider the one that you have on the Metro variant, the Smart Connect technology comes as standard on the Ronin, and there you have turn button navigation, alerts for calls, you have Bluetooth connectivity, and all of that is standard fitment. Here you have to buy a tripper, which is an additional extra. On top of that, you have voice commands there, which is an industry first, especially in the Indian context. So that instrument console with Smart Connect there is a lot more advanced. Even if you leave all the connected tech, which this motorcycle does not come with as standard, the big advantage there is that you get a lot of data, including distance to empty. There you have a lot of critical information like there's a dedicated notification area, trip statistics, trip duration, ride duration, and on top of that, for the connected part, you also have number of missed calls, number of messages, signal strength, phone battery level, etc, etc. So in essence, the instrument console on the Ronin is superior to the one on this motorcycle. Now the fuel tank on the Ronin is 14 liters, on this one it is 13 liters. So in that sense also the Ronin has an advantage. Put on top of that the fact that the Ronin has better fuel efficiency of the two. The top fuel efficiency on the Ronin is about 45 kilometers to the liter. On this you will get a maximum of 40 kilometers to the liter. So in that sense the range is extended not just by the fuel tank capacity but also by the fuel efficiency itself, and the Ronin will take you to a longer distance if you're going long distance touring. The mirrors on this motorcycle are round and they require you to tuck your elbows in if you want to have a good sense of what's coming from behind, but on the Ronin you have a better wider set of RVMs, which again is an advantage. You also get adjustable levers on the Ronin, which you don't get here. You have adjustable brake and clutch lever on the Ronin on the triple tone variant. So that again comes as a very strong feature add. The density of the seat on the Ronin and the overall comfort thanks to the suspension setup and the seat and everything else was better on the Ronin, as I remember. Among the two, I mean the Retro and the Metro variants, I think that the Metro is more comfortable than the Retro and the Ronin is definitely more comfortable than the two. If you really want to have a look at how this motorcycle allows you to sit on it, the feet are slightly rear set. On the Ronin your feet would be slightly forward. So if you are into that relaxed kind of riding style, the Ronin lends itself a little better, and overall I really believe that the Ronin is a better motorcycle in terms of comfort, not just for the rider but for the pillion as well. So that again is an advantage. In terms of electronics as well, the Ronin has a more modern electronic architecture. It's modular and it also comes with riding modes which you don't get on this motorcycle. So from that perspective also the Ronin is a better motorcycle. The power output on the two motorcycles is identical at 20.4 PS. The Ronin produces its peak power at 7,750 RPM, which is slightly higher because it's a perfect square engine, while this motorcycle, being a long stroke, produces it at about 6,000 RPM. However, if you look at the peak torque, which by the way is a lot more on this motorcycle at 27 Newton meters, the torque here is 7 Newton meters more, but it's produced at 4,000 RPM, while the Ronin produces it at 3,750 RPM, which is 250 RPM less than this motorcycle. So in terms of tractability, the Ronin really does come very close to this motorcycle, although this is a more tractable motorcycle. I'll be very clear about that. However, the two motorcycles are very, very closely matched. In terms of outright acceleration, the Ronin is better. The 0 to 100 sprint on the Ronin is quicker. Also, since this motorcycle is a long stroke, it has an inherent resistance to rev very quickly, while the Ronin's engine revs a little bit more intently. In terms of the absolute refinement, if you really want to talk about it, I think the Ronin is slightly more refined as well. The top speed of the two motorcycles is not too different. This one has 114 kilometers per hour top speed, while the Ronin's top speed is slightly higher at 120 kilometers per hour. And I really believe that if you want to be going quick of the two motorcycles, the Ronin will have an advantage. Its acceleration is quicker, its top speed is quicker, and it generally feels a motorcycle which is more intent on revving and going quicker. The weight on the motorcycle, the weight on the Ronin also is lesser of the two. The Ronin weighs in at about 159 kgs curb weight, and this one, the Retro variant, the lighter one of the two, is 178 kgs. So that's a difference of 20 kgs, which is a lot of weight. And if you go for the Metro variant, the weight there is 182 kgs, so you have to add 3 kgs more. So there's a significant difference in the weight of the two motorcycles as well. So the Ronin again has an advantage. The torque here is the single biggest advantage that this engine has, and purely in terms of the cost of manufacturing, this is a bigger block. This is a 350cc engine, so generally when you're making a bigger engine, it's slightly more costly. So you have to give it to Royal Enfield that they're offering you a bigger engine, but to the Ronin's advantage, it is a more technologically superior unit, and it comes with oil cooling with a radiator, so I think it gets squared off. Another advantage that this motorcycle has is that it comes with a USB socket right here as standard, which the Ronin does not. Ronin, you can get it as an accessory, but this is standard fitment, so this is a bit of an advantage if you know, it really matters to you. In terms of the overall balance also, the Ronin has a 50-50 weight distribution front and rear, so it's a more balanced motorcycle, so you can really feel it while you're riding the motorcycle. If you're taking it around corners, it feels a little bit more planted. So All in all, from a chassis, suspension, handling, comfort perspective, I really think that uh, the Ronin is a more sorted motorcycle, although this is also a great leap for Royal Enfield and the engine is refined. This motorcycle with its compact chassis and rear set foot pegs really lends itself very well for riding, not just on the highway but on the bends as well. But of the two, if I really have to pick one, I really think that the Ronin is a more sorted motorcycle. Not just that, it's more comfortable also. Better seat, better suspension, and in addition to all of that, the overall fit and finish and the quality of the paint, etc., also on the Ronin is a little bit better. If you look at all these exposed wires and generally the fit and finish, the Ronin comes across as a better finished motorcycle of the two. So while technically speaking Ronin seems like a better motorcycle, there are some advantages to the Hunter as well, and traditionally speaking Royal Enfield always has been a little bit more expensive motorcycle as compared to most of the TVS motorcycles, and in that sense, and now with the price point having been brought down, I really think that those who are seeking value within the Royal Enfield framework would find this motorcycle as a great VFM proposition, and in that sense this actually is a great value for money motorcycle. And I really believe that of the three motorcycles that you have, the Meteor, the Classic and this one, this actually is the most accomplished motorcycle because it's the lightest, it's the quickest, it lends itself very well to all sorts of riding in a straight line, on the highway, within the city, around corners. So it is the most accomplished RE motorcycle with the J series engine, and it is the least expensive also. So by itself, for RE lovers, this is a fantastic motorcycle, and for those also who want a big bike feel or a classic looking kind of a motorcycle, this is a better motorcycle. Also in terms of sheer tractability, I think this has a slight edge over the Ronin because this can really pull itself from below 5 kilometers per hour in the first gear, from below 10 kilometers per hour in the second gear. In fact, in the fifth gear, it can pull from as low as 25-26 kilometers per hour. Although the Ronin also is very tractable, comes very close, but overall this motorcycle has an advantage. Also, since this has a bigger 270 rear disc brake on the Metro variant, overall I think if you compare the braking of the two motorcycles, although it's very close, this may have a slight edge because of the on and off-road tires of the Ronin, where the braking feels a little bit more squish, a little bit more spongy, although the braking distance may be a little less there, but this feels more reassuring and feels like it has more bite. So in terms of braking also, the Hunter feels very closely matched with the Ronin, and that's where Royal Enfield have done a fantastic job. Purely in terms of dimensions, if you want to compare the numbers, the length of the Ronin is slightly shorter by 15 mm, although the Ronin is wider by 5 mm. The height of the Ronin is more by 15 mm, but the wheelbase of the Hunter is more by 13 mm. The ground clearance on the Ronin is more, and the seat height on the Hunter is slightly less at 5 mm, which is an advantage. So while side by side the Hunter might just come across as a marginally bigger motorcycle, but really there isn't much to tell between the two motorcycles in terms of the sheer size. Yes, the weight here is more, but in terms of maneuverability, if you want to be paddling the two motorcycles, I think again the Ronin has a bit of an advantage. So overall, if you want a big motorcycle feel, you want your motorcycle to feel heavy, also if you want your motorcycle to have a deeper exhaust, a bassier exhaust, that's where the Royal Enfield has a huge advantage. Although the Ronin also has a very nice beat to it, they have tuned the exhaust to sound very beaty, it has a very good low end torque, but this motorcycle feels bassier and would be more satisfying for those of you who want that deep, bassy, throaty kind of an exhaust. Also, another advantage that the Ronin has, that it comes with a silent start. Here you have this noise, but the starts on the Ronin are absolutely silent. In terms of gear shifts also, I would like to think that while this gear shift, this gearbox is also fantastic. Both motorcycles come with 5-speed units. The gear shifts on the Ronin are ever so marginally better. So purely from a technical standpoint, I'll be very honest, I think the Ronin is a better motorcycle. However, I completely understand that Royal Enfield doesn't like imitating anyone. They have their own heritage inspired way of going about motorcycling. They are all about the community feeling of the motorcycle, and in that sense, If you want something more retro, something more classic, something which is more traditional, and something which carries with it the much desired Royal Enfield feel to it, then this motorcycle definitely is a great value for money proposition. Another great advantage that the Hunter has over the Ronin is that the community at Royal Enfield is much bigger, and if you want to be participating with other motorcyclists, go out for your group rides or participate in events, I really think that Royal Enfield provides you a much bigger platform. So in that sense also, the Hunter is a better bet. So if you're not there purely for the technical superiority, I really believe that the Hunter brings along a lot of character. It has a very deep bassy exhaust. It does nothing wrong. It's a very versatile motorcycle. Although again, as I mentioned, if I really have to compare the two motorcycles without any emotions involved, the Ronin is a technologically superior product. Now in terms of pricing also, the two motorcycles are very evenly matched. There's not much difference between the two. So the Hunter starts at 1.5 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi and goes till 1.66 lakh rupees for the retro variant. If you compare it with the Ronin starts at 1.49 lakh rupees ex-showroom and goes till 1.7 lakh rupees for the triple tone variant with dual channel ABS. You have a more expensive version with the Hunter also, but honestly speaking, there's not much to tell between the two motorcycles in terms of the pricing. And as I mentioned, if you are someone who's looking for a more technologically superior motorcycle, the Ronin is the way to go. If you're looking for something which is more traditionally correct, something which brings along a lot of heritage and is from the Royal Enfield family, the Hunter is the motorcycle to go for. If I had to pick one, I'll probably pick the Ronin. But for those of you who want a more classically oriented motorcycle, something that projects a certain image, I think the Hunter 350 is also a motorcycle which is very difficult to find a fault with. I really hope that this video was of some use to you. If you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe to Motoroids, and until next time, this is Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and ride safe.